Hello and welcome to the Sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Dallas-Fort Worth. I'm Ken Crocker here with Rudy Briksza. How you doing, Rudy?
I'm doing all right so far. I'm here again with yet another three-color Dragons deck.
You and your three-color Dragons deck.
I can't help myself.
So last time it's Briksza, this time it's Naya. Yep. So this time we have Dragonlord Atarka and Dragonlord Dromoka.
Yeah.
So those are two of the more powerful Dragon Lords, and in order to top off the amount of dragons you have, of course, we have to add 4 Thunderbreak regions. So how have the dragons been for you, and exactly what matchups do you prefer Dromoka over Atarka or Atarka over Dromoka?
I played twice today against Mardu Dragons, and both times that I played against them, I was very happy to have Dromoka. Part of their biggest thing against you is just trying to race as much fast as possible, deal you as much damage, and Dromoka just stops them cold and gains you a ton of life. And I mean, Atarka's like also okay against them, but like Atarka's really just a 1-for-1. Because a lot of their deck is Thunderbreak Regent or Stormbreath Dragon.
Sure.
So you're really realistically only like 1-for-1ing them because they really don't go in on too many threats.
All right, so we talked about the top end a little bit. We have some more top end, but how do you cast these things? Well, you have 12 mana creatures.
Oh yeah.
So we got the 4/4 Elvish Mystics, the 4/4 Sylvan Caryatids, and the 4/4 Radical Mystics. So what kind of like busted openings could you have with this kind of deck?
Earlier today against Jeskai, I went turn 1 Elvish Mystic.
All right.
Turn 2 morph my Rattleclaw Mystic. Turn 3 land, flip my Rattleclaw Mystic, tap everything, Dromoka, go.
So turn 3 Dromoka.
Yeah.
Probably pretty good against pretty much any deck in the format.
Oh yeah. My opponent sheepishly untapped and played a Manus Rider and passed.
The Manus Rider not even getting in there at that point.
No.
All right, so in order to fill out the rest of the deck, we have some Whisperwood Elementals, 4 of, and we got 4 different Planeswalkers. So we got 2 Xenagos the Reveler, 1 Ajani Mentor of Heroes, and 1 Ugin the Spirit Dragon. So Ajani Mentor of Heroes doesn't see a lot of play. Exactly What's this doing in this deck?
So a long time ago when the format first started, Ajani Mentor of Heroes was either a 1 of in the main or 2 of in the sideboard for a lot of the abs and mid-range decks.
Sure.
It was because you could board it in against all the other mid-range decks, and it was king. Made all your creatures much bigger than theirs, found you more gas, it found you your creatures or your other planeswalkers in the deck. So it kind of closed the door really quickly. In that deck, it kind of does the same thing. Just like the problem with any deck with a ton of ramp, we have 4 coursers and 12 mana guys. That's a lot of mana.
It's a lot of air.
Right, so there's a lot of air. Ajani kind of helps fill a lot of that holes. Plus, it can also turn your small guys into big guys. I got to play an Ajani against my Mardu opponent after I played a Dromoka, and I put 3 counters up on Dromoka, and I attacked him for 8.
So a 5/7 flyer lifelink wasn't good enough?
No,
we need to turn it up to an 8/10?
Yes.
Okay.
It also doesn't have an irrelevant ability of gain 100 life, which gives you plenty of time against almost every deck.
I mean, that's true. That's very true. And finally, we have this 1 of Ashcloud Phoenix. Now, I'm a little upset that you have 10 dragons and then just 1 Ashcloud Phoenix. So what's going on here? Where's the other dragon? We got Stormbreath. We can do this.
It started out as a Stormbreath dragon, but Stormbreath dragon doesn't really it's not really what you want in this deck, because you want to really be able to get in like really fast with it, or you want to be monstrosing it. In this deck, you're not really monstrosing it. You're just it's just a 4/4. And you also play Whisperwood and Mastery of the Unseen out of the board, and all of those are really good with Ashcloud Phoenix. Plus, Ashcloud blocks Anafenza really well, for very cheaply, I might add.
All right, you sold me on it. I still wish it was a dragon, but...
Yeah. I mean, the difference between this dragon deck and other dragon decks is we don't actually have any spells. Our only spells in the deck, in the main deck at least, are just 4 planeswalkers.
Sure.
That's all we have. There's no Valorous Stance, there's no Draconic Roar. It's because we're just using the field to create our advantage. And since our top end is so powerful, it's really hard for us to lose once we start going. And especially if we ever get a Johnny or Xenagos or Ugin going, it closes the door really, really fast.
And this dragon deck seems to have this kind of ability to kind of Crux of Fate proof itself.
Yes.
Because if the Esper Dragon Dex has to Crux of Fate, they have to kill their own dragons, and you're kind of fine with that.
Right, or you just have Whisperwoods and Coursers, and they can Crux and leave you with dragons.
Sure. So in the sideboard, we have our anti-mono red package, basically, with 4 Ashwing Clerics, 4 Dromoka's Commands, and 3 Master of the Unseen. We got 2 Den Protectors, because Den Protector is a very good card. It's a very good card. And then we have the spicy ones. We have a 1 of Xenagos, but this time Xenagos God of the Revels.
Yes.
And a 1 of Hidden Dragon Slayer. So you have these spicy 1-ofs in the sideboard. Why?
So I really wanted to play Arbor Colossus, but my friend Harlan Fire.
So Harlan Fire in the top
Yeah.
16.
Right. Told me that Arbor Colossus was awful and it was terrible and I shouldn't play it. So I elected to believe him. My mistake. Every time I've drawn Hidden Dragon Slayer, if it was just Arbor Colossus, I would have just smashed my opponent. I just drew Hidden Dragon Slayer, and my opponent's like, well, I have this Storm Breath Dragon. And I'm like, yep, this is the worst. But
So what about Xenagos at least?
right. I mean, it does have, Hidden Dragon Slayer does have some benefits, because
Sure.
at least it's good against Abzan aggro, because you can kill their Anafenza or Rhino or Death Dealer if they pump
Yeah.
it. So it's not the worst. And also you can flip it and trade with the Fleece Mane, which is kind of nice. But Xenagos God of Rebels is something you just bring in against control and all the mid-range mirrors, because it just makes all of your guys just so much bigger than theirs, and it makes you faster too. Like, you can be a little slow sometimes, you have to go Dragon, all right, untap, Dragon, attack. Like, sometimes that can go, but with Xenagod, you can just play him, slam him, bash. And with the Dramoka, gaining 10 life.
That's pretty good. Last time I checked.
Yeah. In testing, I was kind of hoping, I played as Xenagod, then I untapped and I Tarkin my opponent's team and 16'd him.
So this has some pretty busted lines, we're trying to say. So if you
Right.
want to go big with your
Right.
dragon deck, this is the dragon deck to do it.
Yep, I mean, you have all the ramp, you have Planeswalkers that help push you forward and also help with your ramp. And I mean, a lot of times I'm just plussing with Xenagos. I don't really find myself zeroing with Xenagos a lot. It's because I just want to play everything in my hand, and his ultimate is very relevant in this kind of deck. We also have 4 Havens in this deck. Like,
Sure.
the full set of Havens, because we just always want to be able to cast all our dragons and buy them back.
Yeah, so really you don't have any spells in the main, but you do have these like spell lands and Haven of the Spirit Dragon sort
Right.
of. Well, it seems like if you want to go big, and it looks like you're going as big as you can, this seems like the right deck to do. Rudy, thanks for taking the time to side us in from the sideboard.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Good luck with the rest of your rounds.
Thanks.
And you guys stay tuned for more standard action here at the StarCityGuiams.com Open in Dallas, Fort Worth.